Hi there, this is Tata, and welcome to Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Wednesday, May 15th, 2024, and tonight I'll be talking about AEW Dynamite. Now, tonight's Dynamite continues to build towards Double or Nothing. We got a couple of things that happened that are leading up to Double or Nothing. Okay, so we all know it's going to be Team AEW versus Team The Elite in Anarchy in the Arena match. Now, during Resurgence this past weekend, Eddie Kingston got hurt, so now Team AEW was down a guy. And tonight marked the big return of Darby Allin, and we find out he's going to be the fourth man in Anarchy in the Arena match. Now, at the end of the main event, the Elite attacked Dax, and Cash Wheeler and Bryan Danielson came out to help him, but also got beat up until that Darby Allin came out to even up the odds. So we haven't seen Darby Allin since he got taken out by Bullet Club Gold, but it was an interesting choice to have Darby Allin be the fourth team. I kind of thought that there would be some hope that maybe, Bryan would also get taken out of the match and then we would get the Motor City Machine Guns, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. But nevertheless, what did you guys think of Darby Allin joining Team AEW to take on the Elite? That was an interesting choice, to say the least. But Darby Allin's been through a lot. He broke his ankle. He got hit by a bus in New York, apparently. And the fact that he came back tonight, wow, it's incredible, honestly. Okay, so let's talk about what else happened tonight in AEW. So tonight's Dynamite kicked off with Kyle Fletcher and Jeff Cobb versus the Blackpool Combat Club in the form of Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Now, before this match even got started, Kyle Fletcher and Jeff Cobb attacked Jon Moxley as soon as he came over the barricade. That's his entrance. And then Bryan came out and immediately went after Kyle Fletcher here. Now, I thought this was a great way to kick off tonight's Dynamite. I thought it was a really great match. Blackpool Combat Club was victorious after Jon Moxley hits the Death Rider to Kyle Fletcher. And then, at the end, Moxley gets attacked by Kazuchika, Takeshita, and Claudio comes out to help Bryan and Jon Moxley. So, are we going to see, maybe a trios match here? Bryan, Moxley, and Claudio versus maybe Jeff Cobb, Kyle Fletcher, and Kazuchika, Takeshita here? We get a video package of Swerve, Strickland and Christian Cage. AEW is getting better at the video packages. I really enjoyed the video package. We get Adam Copeland in ring segment, and before he can even say anything, I don't even know what he was going to go out there and say. He gets attacked by House of Black as he's making down to the ring, and Malachi Black steals Adam Copeland's wedding ring here. And Kyle Ray comes down to help Copeland, but he also gets knocked down by Brody King. And they do a triple cannonball to Adam Copeland with steel chairs that they had set up. Until later on in the night, Malachi Black accepts Adam Copeland's challenge, but he makes it known that if Adam Copeland loses, he has to bend the knee to House of Black here. So I'm really looking forward to Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black match. I think it'll be a really great match. So we get an Elite segment here, and they were just talking about how Eddie Kingston got injured at Resurgence, and now that there's a possibility it'll be a 4-on-3 match for Anarchy in the Arena. As we learned at the end of tonight, that's not going to be the case. Now they talk about their track record. How they first took out Tony Khan, then Kenny Omega, and now Eddie Kingston. And Okada says that he would destroy Dax tonight and cause him a bitch. Now, one interesting thing here is Reebok apparently is teaming up with the Young Bucks, and they're going to have this Champ Sports, exclusively on Champ Sports. I thought this was like fake. I didn't think it was legit because they passed like a commercial for it. And at first I was like, is this like legit? Like, is this like, what is this? But it is legit. You can order the shoes apparently on Reeboks. So how many of you guys are gonna get the Young Buck shoes here? And that was an interesting commercial to say the least. So, and I think that they're gonna be wearing those pumps during Anarchy in the Arena. Now, why would you not? That's like you have to promote your product. So, but I wonder if that means that they're gonna like win. All right, so this is followed up by an FTR interview in which they're talking about Anarchy in the Arena, how they possibly found a fourth guy for their match. And Dax basically says that maybe Okada is the Elite's bitch and that they'll find out tonight. We get a tag team eliminator match. It's the Young Bucks versus Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. Now, I think this was a fun little match. Now, the last time Christopher Daniels faced the Young Bucks, him and Frankie Kazarian split up. And they made note of the fact that Christopher Daniels' music is performed by Gutter Candy, which is a band of Frankie Kazarian. So the Young Bucks are victorious after they hit the Tony Khan driver to Christopher Daniels here. And at the end, they fire Christopher Daniels because he spoke down to them and he even had the audacity to put his hands on Matthew Jackson. They make mention about how they're trying to clean up the locker room and office from toxicity and that they've worked really hard for several months and Christopher Daniels is screwing that up. So this is when they fire him. And then they say that they will take care of his family. He's getting a sweet severance package and a check for at least 30 days. They've arranged for security to escort Daniels. They thank him for 5 years of kick-ass work and call him a rock star. And then, like, Matthew Jackson wants an AEW chant. And Jack Perry, who was on commentary during this match, pours his drink on Tony Schiavone. So, I don't know if, like, Christopher Daniels was, like, legitimately fired or he was just fired as a wrestler, because I know he does work in the office, so I don't know what like his contract status or anything, but it's quite interesting that they mentioned Frankie Kazarian, because Frankie Kazarian, if you don't watch TNA, he's over on TNA. He came back to TNA and he's currently doing this whole King of TNA gimmick. So it would be really interesting to see if like Christopher Daniels would go back to TNA to team up with Frankie Kazarian over here. So I'm very curious to see what this is. Maybe it's just again to write Christopher Daniels off screen. Let me see. I believe it's more kayfabe than anything. Oh, hey, Brett. Yeah, it probably is kayfabe. So they probably fired him just to write him off the screen, like off TV, and like have him mostly focus on backstage work, probably. So Toni Storm does an interview and she's just basically like killing it with these one-liners. She says her ovaries must be heard. She talks about how Harley Cameron assaulted and abused a sweet angelic child in Mariah May. It also adds more heat to the Elite. That's true. And then she brings up Serena Deeb, who is her opponent at Double or Nothing, and talks about how she thanks her for knocking her out because she didn't have to listen to another second of the sob story, and that Serena Deeb will end up like everybody who like every other degenerate in Las Vegas, flat on her back and on her ass, and an ass in her face, wondering where the hell her dignity went. So this was a good little interview by Toni Storm. She's been killing it with this timeless character. I'm very curious to see if the plan would probably still be to have Mariah May take the title off her. I don't think Serena Deeb is winning at Double or Nothing. We get Hook versus Sebastian Wolfe. This is Hook's first match back since Dynasty. I was not a huge fan of this. I just feel like you could have done without the match. You could just had Hook go out there and cut the promo instead. because this was more like of an enhancement match. I was not a fan of it. So basically, Hook calls out Chris Jericho and Big Bill, and I really like how Chris Jericho's all like, hi, and he starts like, he's all like happy and go lucky going out there. And basically, he tries to say that this was not a fighting moment, this is a teaching moment, because Hook wants a rematch for that FTW title. Of course, Jericho was not going to give him that match that easily. We find out that on Collision, Hook and a few others will have a qualifying match, and if Hook wins, maybe he will face Jericho for the title. So it's interesting that that's the case, because I wonder if that means Hook is gonna win for sure, or if it means he's gonna be an obstacle in the way of Hook getting back to Chris Jericho. Learning Tree Chris Jericho is just the best. God damn it, he's done it again. You know, I explained a while back that I thought it was hilarious that Big Bill, of all people, is with Chris Jericho, because Brian Myers did his own version of the Learning Tree back in TNA, the most professional Learning Tree, and Big Bill actually had an 8-on-1 handicap match against 8 members of the Learning Tree. So when Big Bill came out there and said he wanted to join Chris Jericho, I just thought it was the most hilarious thing. So, like, Hook hits Chris Jericho in the back of the head with that microphone, and then like Shibata comes out and helps Hook. And then I guess like Chris Jericho was like bleeding from his head because he had like blood on his hands and stuff. So I wonder if this might lead to like a tag match: Big Bill and Chris Jericho versus Shibata and Hook. So we get a Swerve Strickland promo, and he's basically talking about how like he ended the chapter of his life that was a mogul MC because they betrayed him. He talked about how Loa and Bishop Kong bit the hand that fed them, so they had to be put down, and about how his focus is Christian Cage at Double or Nothing. Now he makes reference to the fact that he was the one who was put in the coffin during their tag match at last year's All In, but he was going to put Christian Cage in a grave. And he talks about how Brian Cage is going to be the final nail in the coffin of the Mogul MC, and he wants everybody to welcome Brian Cage to Swerve's house. So this leads into the AEW World Eliminator match. Swerve Strickland versus Brian Cage. I thought this was a good match, but it's no surprise that Swerve Strickland was going to win here. I mean, come on now. Like, I don't think he was going to lose to Brian Cage. So after he wins, like, he hits Brian Cage with the steel chair to the back. And Christian Cage and the Patriarchy come out. Like, Nick Wayne gives him a low blow as Christian distracts him. And then, like, I don't know where they got that family photo, but there's a family photo of Swerve Strickland and his family. And, like, Killswitch is holding on to poor Swerve Strickland here. And, like, Nick Wayne hits him with that family photo. And not only that, to add insult to injury, Christian Cage wipes Swerve Strickland's blood with his own family photo. And Christian says that this is to embarrass Swerve Strickland for embarrassing Nick Wayne when he attacked him last year. I was like, damn, like, that's just cold-blooded. But, Christian Cage doing incredible heel work. I don't know if this will main event. I think this will main event, or Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale will main event. They both have their arguments for main eventing, but I cannot wait for this match. I think it's going to be a really great match. So we get a Hook interview, and he's basically saying that he will beat anyone who he needs to beat to get his hands on Chris Jericho. And Shibata brings up the fact, like, what about him? Because he wants another shot at Jericho too. And Hook basically is like, if push comes to shove, they will have to face each other to get their hands on Chris Jericho. Samoa Joe interrupts, and basically, let me see, it'll be Anarchy in the Arena. That'll main event just like last year. Samoa Joe interrupts and basically says that if Hook and Shibata stop beating themselves, they can actually be dangerous. And as Joe is walking away, like Hook is like saying he will fight Joe, which he has in the past. So now we get Toni Storm versus Harley Cameron, and I have to say this was a pretty decent match. Harley Cameron is improving a lot. Like I've talked about this before, but my favorite Harley Cameron song is The Inspiration, which she performed for Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay when they were The Inspiration. I even have that song on my Spotify playlist. But yeah, but this is a decent match. I think she definitely held her own against Toni Storm. But Toni Storm won. We get a Will Ospreay and Roderick segment, and this was a really great segment. This was they sold this match in like under 3 minutes. Like Will Ospreay was called the Kingdom and Roderick Strong bell ends. You guys should look up what bell ends are. And he called Wardlow a big veiny bell end. But basically the whole point of this was that like Will Ospreay does not respect Roderick Strong, and he hates the fact that like Roderick Strong feels comfortable with the title because like, you know, the Undisputed Kingdom is there, and because maybe he retired the Tiger Driver in 91. He questions what kind of mind games Roderick Strong is playing here, and he mentions the fact that Roderick Strong never respected him, whether it was PWG, ROH, Progress, even Southside Wrestling. Like Roderick Strong just did not have that respect for him. And Roderick Strong brings up the fact that Will Ospreay is talented in the ring, but an idiot outside of the ring. And that despite the fact that he has a missus and a child, he's not a responsible man, but a child. He always will be that child. And basically he's saying that he doesn't deserve that international title. I was like, dang, like he called him a kid, man. That's not cool at all. Like I honestly feel like Will Ospreay's probably taking that international title off of Roderick Strong. And I feel like maybe it's only a matter of time before Mike Bennett and Matt Taven lose those tag titles. I mean, it's unfortunate that Adam Cole suffered the injury, because I feel like the Undisputed Kingdom basically went cold after it was real that Adam Cole was the devil, and you know, due to his injury and MJF not being there. I just feel like if Adam Cole hadn't been injured and MJF was there, the group could have been so much more, because I think the plan was to have Adam Cole have the world title and the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom have like the tag titles and maybe the TNT or international title on Roderick Strong. But I still think that Wardlow was a stand-in for Adam Cole, because had Adam Cole not gotten injured, I don't think that they would have added Wardlow to the group. Also, too, I still think that it would have been Adam Cole versus MJF at World's End and not Samoa Joe. But anywho, Will Ospreay makes it a point to say that he's going to show why he's on another level, why he's the best. So I cannot wait for Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay. It's going to be a great match, and I do think that Roderick Strong's losing that title to Will Ospreay. So we get a TBS title contract signing, and as you guys know, in professional wrestling, weddings, celebrations, and contract signings always end in complete and utter chaos. And this was no different here. So Willow talked about the TBS title and the legacy and about how everything that title has represented for all the women that have held that title. And Mercedes Moné basically mentions that while Willow was training back in 2015, she in Brooklyn was changing the game, and about how she kicked down doors and broke through glass ceilings and stuff like that. And that the best part of Willow's career was beating Mercedes. And I thought this was a good line on Willow's part, but I thought it was really cold-blooded. Willow told Mercedes that the last time they wrestled, she walked away a champion, and Mercedes didn't even walk out at all, referencing to, once again, Mercedes breaking her ankle during her match with Willow for that New Japan Strong Women's title. Mercedes then stops Willow and attempts to hit her with the title, but Willow puts her through the table. So there is a chaotic table contract signing here. I do think that Willow's losing that belt to Mercedes. Now, should this main event, should Anarchy in the Arena main event, should Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage main event, I will say, because this is Mercedes' big in-ring debut for AEW, that could be an argument for her to main event. I think that she is definitely winning. I think that this match should have a clean finish. I don't think it should have a dusty finish. I think that Mercedes should be Willow clean. I don't think there should be an asterisk near that victory. And I think that at the end of this match, Chris Statlander is probably going to turn on Willow Nightingale. I mean, she's been getting involved in the best friend stuff too. Trent whispered something in her ear. So I need to wonder as to what he whispered in her. But we still don't know who attacked Mercedes when the lights went out. I think it's Chris Statlander. So this title match doesn't happen at the end of this match. It probably might happen at the fallout from Double or Nothing. But then again, it may not happen until a couple weeks down the road. I really do think that this would be the perfect opportunity to have Chris Statlander turn heel. So the main event ends up being the Continental title match, Okada versus Dax Harwood. And this was a great main event. Like, holy shit, like, this match was incredible. Like, my favorite spot in this match was when he did the superplex from the outside of the ring. Oh my god. When he did the superplex from outside of the ring to inside of the ring, and then like poor Dax went shoulder first into the ring post. Okada ended up winning this when he low blowed Dax and then hit the Rainmaker. And I already talked about at the end, Darby Allin came back. This will be the fourth man and Anarchy in the Arena. So I thought tonight's Dynamite was pretty enjoyable all around. Wasn't a huge fan of the Hook versus Sebastian Wolfe match. I feel like you could have just left off the table and just done the segment with Hook and Chris Jericho. But aside from that, on a scale from a 1 to a Sean Spears perfect 10, I'd give tonight's Dynamite an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty enjoyable Dynamite. I'm excited for this build to Double or Nothing. I can't wait for Double or Nothing. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And if you guys like TNA, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow to Body Slam as I review TNA Wrestling. If not, then I'll see you guys here Friday after SmackDown. Bye.